Bull Market Bulletin.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive with us. So you've been digging into Solana lately, huh? And its potential future.
Smart move.
Yeah, especially considering its performance this year.
Definitely.
Today, we're diving headfirst into a Solana prediction report,
Okay.
filled with insights from some serious crypto experts.
All right.
And we'll unpack their key predictions, the driving forces behind them, and what it all means for you.
What I find interesting about this report is that it's not just hype.
Right.
They've actually grounded their analysis in market trends, expert opinions, and, of course, Solana's wild ride in 2024.
Absolutely. Let's talk about that wild ride for a sec. Remember back in mid-2023?
Yeah.
When Solana was hovering around $20?
Oh, yeah.
Then boom. By the first quarter of 2024, it had blasted past $200.
Crazy.
And this report suggests that might just be the beginning.
Right. Short term, the report suggests Solana could retest its all-time high of $263 early next year. One of the things feeding that prediction is the cup and handle pattern that's formed on the SOL chart. You're probably familiar with this pattern, but for our listeners who may not be, it's often seen as a bullish signal among technical analysts.
Now, for those of us who aren't glued to charts all day,
Right.
what exactly does that pattern tell us about Solana's potential?
So the cup and handle pattern emerges when you map Solana's price action over a period of time.
Okay.
It literally looks like a cup with a handle.
Gotcha.
The cup part is a U-shaped dip followed by a rise, and the handle is a smaller, shallower dip that precedes another price surge. This pattern often signals gathering upward momentum.
Okay, so that's one piece of the puzzle behind that potential retest of $263.
Yeah.
But this report doesn't rely on just charts, right?
Nope.
They've pulled in opinions from a whole lineup of crypto experts.
Exactly. 7 experts to be precise, and we're not talking about random voices here.
Yeah, let's introduce our listeners to this brain trust. We've got Jake Gagan, a major crypto content creator and investor, Tyler Hill from Tyler Hill Investing, and Takis Saklanos, who was, get this, the first analyst to actually publish crypto forecasts.
Wow.
Talk about a trailblazer.
Yeah.
Don't forget Ben Armstrong, better known as BitBoy Crypto to his massive YouTube audience.
Right.
Lark Davis, a prominent influencer and analyst.
Mm-hmm.
Van Eck, the investment management firm, bringing in that institutional viewpoint.
Yeah.
And finally, Michael Vendepop, a well-regarded trader and analyst known for his insightful market takes.
So we've got quite the lineup.
Wow, that's quite the lineup. What are they seeing for 2025?
Things get really interesting in 2025. The report forecasts SOL to trade between $190 and $570 throughout the year,
Okay.
with a potential high of $750.
Wow.
It's a pretty wide range.
Yeah.
So let's unpack what support and resistance levels mean in this context.
Yeah, break that down for us.
Okay.
It feels like we need a finance degree to understand this stuff sometimes.
Think of it this way. Support is like the floor beneath Solana's price.
Okay.
It's the point where buying pressure is strong enough to prevent the price from dropping further. On the other hand, resistance is like a ceiling. It's where selling pressure kicks in, making it harder for the price to break through. So that $190 to $570 range essentially outlines where these floors and ceilings might be for Solana throughout 2025.
So within that range, what specific price points are these experts predicting for 2025?
Their predictions for Solana in 2025 vary from a low of $220
Good.
all the way up to $750.
Whoa.
That's quite a spread, but the average prediction leans towards $450.
Okay, so potentially some serious growth on the horizon. But what I find even more intriguing is that the long-term predictions get even bolder.
Right.
We're talking Solana potentially reaching $1,000 or more before 2030.
Right. But before we get carried away with visions of Lambos and yachts,
Right.
the report throws in a little twist.
Oh.
Apparently, there's a chance of a dip in Solana's price around September or October of 2024.
Wait a dip. I thought we were all aboard the rocket to the moon. What's the deal with that?
That's actually a great illustration of how, even in a bullish market
Right.
with a positive long-term outlook,
Okay.
short-term dips are totally normal. It's like hiking up a mountain. You might encounter a few valleys along the way, but the overall direction is still upwards.
Okay, so it's not always going to be a straight shot to those astronomical figures.
Exactly. And for those in the know, these dips can present a chance to buy the dip, picking up Solana at a lower price and potentially reaping the benefits when it bounces back.
So what's fueling all this optimism about Solana in the first place?
Mhm.
Is it just the price action, or is there something more fundamental going on here?
Well, one key factor is the increasing adoption of Solana,
Okay,
particularly in the DeFi space.
gotcha.
More and more projects are choosing to build on the Solana blockchain. This suggests a growing confidence in its technology and its potential for the future of finance.
You're right, we can't overlook Solana's role in DeFi. It's not just another blockchain trying to grab a slice of the pie.
Exactly. And Solana brings some serious advantages to the table. It's known for its speed and low transaction costs, both essential for DeFi to truly thrive. After all, who wants to wait ages for transactions to clear or pay exorbitant fees?
Makes sense. Are there any other major developments that are getting people excited about Solana's potential?
Absolutely. One that's really making waves is the integration of Solana stablecoins for payments by Stripe.
Hold on, Stripe, as in the online payment processing giant. That's a pretty big deal, right?
It's massive.
Yeah.
This signals that Solana is moving beyond the realm of purely crypto and into real-world use cases. The possibility of people using Solana stablecoins to buy goods and services online marks a major step towards mainstream adoption.
I'm starting to see why everyone's buzzing about Solana. But let's get back to those predictions. This report dives into a specific question. Will Solana ever hit $500? What do the experts say?
They've outlined 3 conditions that need to be met for Solana to reach that $500 milestone.
Okay, lay them on us. What needs to happen?
First, Bitcoin needs to break through the $72,000 barrier. Bitcoin's movements often influence the broader crypto market, including Solana, so its success could have a ripple effect.
So a rising tide lifts all boats, as they say. What's the second condition?
Solana itself needs to climb above $250. It's a significant jump from where it is now, but we've seen it make big moves before.
All right, 2 down, 1 to go. What's the final hurdle?
This one's a little more complicated.
Okay.
Solana needs to win its ongoing battle with the SEC and avoid being classified as a security. This regulatory uncertainty has been looming over Solana, and a favorable outcome would definitely boost investor confidence.
The legal stuff. Always adding a layer of suspense to the crypto world. So those are the 3 checkpoints on the road to $500. Any clues about when we might see it hit $300?
The report suggests that 2025 could be the year for that, possibly around summer. But as always, these are just predictions. The crypto market is notoriously unpredictable, and there's no crystal ball here.
True that. It's definitely keeping us all on our toes.
Absolutely. And that's part of what makes it so fascinating.
All right, we've covered the short-term outlook, the 2025 predictions, and even peeked into those longer-term possibilities. What else can we dig into from this report?
Let's delve into what Solana could be worth in a few years. This is where things get even more interesting. The report suggests that in the next 3 years, Solana could be on track to reach a value of $1,250.
Wow, $12,250 in just 3 years. That's a pretty bold prediction.
Yeah.
And what about even further out? What's the long-term outlook? Does the report venture any guesses about Solana's potential, say, by 2030?
It does, and this is where it gets really exciting. The report suggests that in a best-case scenario, Solana could peak somewhere between $1,000 and $2,000 before 2030.
So by 2030, we could potentially be looking at a Solana that's worth almost 10 times its current price. That's some serious upside. But let's be realistic for a moment. What are the risks? Nothing is guaranteed in the crypto world, right?
You're absolutely right. Investing in any cryptocurrency, including Solana, comes with inherent risks. The market is notoriously volatile, and unexpected events can always throw things off course.
So what are some specific risks that Solana investors should be aware of?
Well, one we've already touched on is the ongoing regulatory uncertainty, particularly with the SEC. If Solana is classified as a security, it could face stricter regulations and potentially even be delisted from some exchanges. That would obviously have a significant impact on its price.
That's definitely a factor to consider. Any other potential red flags on the horizon?
Competition is another big one. The crypto space is constantly evolving with new blockchains and platforms popping up all the time. Solana has some advantages like its speed and low costs, but it's not the only player in the game. It needs to keep innovating and attracting developers and users to stay ahead of the curve.
It's like a constant race to the top, pushing everyone to innovate and improve. But speaking of innovation, let's circle back to those Solana stablecoins and the Stripe integration. That whole concept really caught my attention. Could you break down why stablecoins are such a big deal in the crypto world?
Absolutely. Stablecoins are a fascinating development in the crypto space. They're essentially cryptocurrencies designed to maintain a stable value, usually pegged to a fiat currency like the US dollar. This stability makes them much more practical for everyday transactions than, say, Bitcoin or Ethereum, which are known for their volatility.
So instead of worrying about the price of your crypto fluctuating wildly while you're trying to buy a cup of coffee, stablecoins offer a more predictable and reliable option.
Exactly. And that's where Stripe comes in. By integrating Solana stablecoins, Stripe is essentially opening the door for businesses to accept payments in these stablecoins. That's a huge step towards mainstream adoption, as it makes it much easier for people to use Solana for real-world purchases.
It's almost like bridging the gap between the crypto world and the traditional financial system. So instead of just trading Solana on an exchange, people could potentially use it to buy things like clothes, groceries, or even plane tickets.
That's the idea. And that kind of real-world utility is what could ultimately drive mass adoption of cryptocurrencies.
It all ties back to that question of, will Solana ever reach $500 or even $1,000? It sounds like these stablecoin integrations and real-world applications could play a major role in getting us there.
I think so. It's not just about speculation anymore. It's about creating a more efficient and accessible financial system. And Solana, with its speed, low costs, and innovative ecosystem, is well-positioned to be a leader in that space.
This is all incredibly fascinating, but let's come back down to earth for a second and talk about the short-term outlook. We've explored all these long-term predictions, but what about the here and now? What should Solana investors be watching for in the coming months?
Well, as we mentioned earlier, the report suggests that Solana might experience a dip in price around September or October of 2024. But remember, even with all the positive long-term predictions, there could be some bumps in the road along the way.
So even though the long-term outlook appears bright, short-term volatility is still a reality in the crypto market. It's important to be prepared for those ups and downs. What are some specific factors that could influence Solana's price in the short term?
The report highlights a few key things to watch. One is, of course, the overall market sentiment. If Bitcoin starts to rally, that positive momentum could lift the entire crypto market, including Solana.
So keeping an eye on Bitcoin is always a good idea for any crypto investor, even if they're focused on altcoins like Solana. What else should we be paying attention to?
Another important factor is the progress of Solana's ongoing development. New updates, partnerships, and applications could all have a positive impact on its price. On the flip side, any negative news or developments could potentially send the price down.
It's all about balancing those potential risks and rewards. But beyond just the price movements, I'm curious about the bigger picture. What would a world with widespread Solana adoption actually look like? What are the real-world implications of all this?
That's a great question. And it's one that a lot of people in the crypto space are grappling with right now. We're still in the early stages of this technology, but the potential for disruption is enormous. Imagine a world where financial services are faster, cheaper, and more accessible to everyone. Imagine a world where you can send money across borders instantly without paying exorbitant fees.
It sounds like we're talking about a fundamental shift in how we think about and interact with money.
Exactly. And Solana, with its focus on speed, scalability, and low costs, is well positioned to be a major player in that transformation. Of course, there are still many challenges to overcome, and there's no guarantee that Solana will be the platform that ultimately wins out. But one thing is certain. The future of finance is going to be very different from the past.
And Solana might just be one of the key players shaping that future. Now, before we get too carried away with these visions of a decentralized utopia, I want to bring things back to the present moment. This report we've been discussing focuses heavily on price predictions, but I'm wondering if you have any thoughts on what investors should be looking at beyond just the numbers. What are some other indicators of Solana's long-term potential?
That's a great point. While price is certainly an important metric, it's not the only thing that matters. I think it's crucial to look at the underlying fundamentals of the project.
Yeah. What are the key things that make a crypto project like Solana truly valuable and sustainable in the long run? What should savvy investors be paying attention to?
Well, one of the most important things is the strength and activity of the developer community. A thriving developer ecosystem is essential for any blockchain platform to succeed. It's the developers who build the applications and use cases that ultimately drive adoption and value.
Exactly. A strong developer community signals that people believe in the technology and its potential.
Yeah.
They're willing to invest their time and resources to build on it, which ultimately creates more value for everyone involved.
So it's not just about the tech itself, it's about the community that grows around it. What else should we be looking at?
Another crucial factor is real-world adoption, as we discussed earlier with those stablecoin integrations.
Right.
It's not enough for a blockchain to just exist in a vacuum. It needs to have practical applications that people can use in their everyday lives.
So it needs to solve real problems and offer tangible benefits beyond just speculative trading. Precisely. The more real-world use cases a blockchain has, the more valuable it becomes. And that's why initiatives like the Stripe integration are so significant. They're bringing crypto into the mainstream and demonstrating its potential to disrupt traditional industries.
This all sounds very promising, but let's not forget that Solana has had its fair share of challenges along the way. Remember those network outages that plagued it in the past?
You're right. It's important to acknowledge those past issues and how they've been addressed. Transparency and accountability are crucial in this space, especially when it comes to technical challenges.
So for someone who's just starting to learn about Solana, what are the key takeaways from its journey so far?
I'd say one of the most important takeaways is that Solana has demonstrated resilience.
Okay.
It's faced setbacks, learned from them, and emerged stronger.
Right.
It's constantly iterating, improving its technology, and expanding its ecosystem.
It's a reminder that the crypto world is constantly evolving and the ability to adapt is essential for survival. But for those listeners who might be feeling a bit overwhelmed by all this information, what's the one piece of advice you'd give them as they navigate the crypto landscape?
The most important thing is to approach it with a balanced perspective. Don't get caught up in the hype or FOMO, fear of missing out. Do your own research, be skeptical, and only invest what you can afford to lose.
That's solid advice. It's a reminder that this is still a relatively new and volatile market. But with that being said, the potential is undeniable. What excites you most about the future of Solana and the broader crypto space?
What excites me is the potential to create a more open, transparent, and accessible financial system. Crypto has the power to level the playing field, empower individuals, and disrupt traditional power structures. And that's a future I'm excited to be a part of.
It's definitely an exciting time to be following this space. Well, folks, we've covered a lot of ground today, from those bold price predictions to the underlying factors driving Solana's growth. We've explored the potential risks and rewards, delved into the fascinating world of stablecoins and real-world adoption, and even dared to imagine a future shaped by blockchain technology.
It's been a thought-provoking journey. Hopefully our listeners feel equipped to continue exploring the world of Solana and the broader crypto landscape.
Absolutely. Remember, this deep dive was just the beginning. There's a whole universe of information out there, and the more you learn, the better prepared you'll be to navigate this exciting and ever-evolving world.
Keep those minds curious and those portfolios diversified.
And most importantly, don't be afraid to ask questions and challenge assumptions. That's how we all learn and grow in this space. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. We'll catch you on the next one.
Bull Market Bulletin.